Hi everyone, good afternoon or good morning, good evening, wherever you might be tuning in from today. Maybe drop us a flag in the comments to let us know where you're from. If you've got, a country flag, then that would be great to let us know where you're joining from. I am just going to let me just add in our guest today, Chambers. So just a little introduction. Hi, I'm Steph. I've worked for Heritage Park Centre for just over a year now. Hi, Dan.
Oh, you're right.
Hi, I'm just doing a little bit of letting everybody know who I am. So, Steph, I've worked for Heritage Park Centre for just over a year. I do all the social media postings, the email campaigns. You've probably seen me at events, rocking the heritage sign or saying hello. So today we have Dan Chambers with us. Dan is a relative newbie on the YouTube scene, but he is growing rapidly. So we're very pleased to have you with us today to talk about some of your projects and your channel. So yeah, hi, hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Very good. Been on the golf again this morning.
Yeah, getting some work done?
Yeah, getting there, chipping away at it every day. It's nice.
Good. What's the weather like where you are today? It is grey and miserable here.
Yeah, the same. It's been hammering it down all morning. Luckily it stopped for a bit, otherwise you'd hear it all on the roof of the van.
I did worry about that. I'm in the heritage shop at the moment. It's very echoey and I thought if it rains, it's not going
to do anything.
Not going to be good, no. So anybody who's just tuned in, we're obviously going to have people coming in all the time. So this is Dan Chambers, YouTube. We've just started a new collaboration with Dan, doing his Mk1 Golf restoration project, which is very exciting. So we're just going to have a bit of a chat today about that project, about his channel, and any other bits and bobs to do with VW. So I hope you stick around, say hello. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments and we'll try and get to them throughout. But yeah, let's get started. So you started your YouTube channel, Dan Chambers, about 5 months ago, and you are rapidly approaching 20,000 followers. How does that feel? What's it been like?
I get asked this question quite a lot, and I've still not found the right words for it. It unbelievable is the only real way of sort of describing it. So I started it on the 13th of May, I think it was. And it just instantly, the subscribers were just going up and up and up to the point of where it was 10,000 subscribers in 8 weeks, which is just...
Wow. That's phenomenal.
I've had that many emails and messages from people starting channels saying, what's the secret? Why did it work? What did you do?
What's the
key? I have no idea. It just... Something was right, whether it was me or the content or the timing, or I think lockdown helped massively. But yeah, it was just crazy. And the subscribers are amazing. The comments I get, the feedback I get is awesome. The people buying t-shirts and buying hoodies is just, it all blows my mind. It really does. It's, yeah, I suppose unbelievable is the way that I'd describe it. It's crazy.
That's great.
Crazy.
I think it is. It's a combination. There's a kind of secret combination for YouTube channels, Instagram channels, the kind of content that you're creating, the personality behind it, the quality of the content, obviously.
Yeah.
And like you said, with lockdown, I would imagine it was that kind of perfect timing to introduce yourself into the scene when everybody was at home and they were trying to find new things.
That's it. And at that time, I didn't do this for that reason, but at that time, T5s and vans and camper conversions were just... They were just going mad. I mean, the start of lockdown, what you could buy a base van for was probably half of what they're selling for now. It's just crazy. And me buying a van and showing a rough ex-builder's van to something that was a bit cleaner, a bit nicer, and how easy it was to do. I think that was the main thing that sort of helped with it.
Yeah, agreed.
And I was going to stick with T5s and camper vans, but then decided that I needed to branch out and do different things. I didn't want to get stuck doing the same thing over and over again.
So you really enjoy it? You're enjoying the YouTube channel and the scene and getting
Absolutely love
it.
Absolutely love it. It's even to the point of being sat at about 10:30 last night trying to finish the video that goes live tonight. I was happy as anything. Cup of tea there, sat working away, headphones on, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And it's a nice feeling of when you post a video. There's a sort of an anxiety when you post it. Is it going to be accepted? Right? Are people going to like it? And then when the comments start coming in, it's just that feeling. I think is what gets addictive. Is when them comments start coming in and the views are coming in. I think that feeling is what gets addictive with YouTube. And I've spoke to a couple of other people, and they say that it's not even the gratification you get from people, it's just that feeling of when you put a video out there. It's amazing, it really is.
The engagement, because you do get great engagement as well. Obviously, you know, some people struggle with the getting the comments and everything rather than just the views and the likes, but you get fantastic interaction from your community, which is great.
It's phenomenal. And I've tried doing it in a few different videos of not saying the YouTube thing of like, comment, share, all this. And if you don't say it, people don't do it. If you say it, people do it. It's crazy. And I've done it on a few different videos, and it does. You have to say these things for it to work and help grow. And it really does. It's mad. It's so. I've had a friend over yesterday who said he recommended my video to a friend that wanted to do a similar thing. He'd started watching it, then this guy went into a plumber's merchants in Leicester a few days later, and the guy behind the counter said, "Oh, watch Dan Chambers," and he was like, "Oh, I already am. I'm already watching that." It's the people that are recommending me and talking about me is crazy.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really.
Did you have any previous filming or editing experience or anything? Because your videos are seamless, you know, fantastic edited and
no,
really well
not at all. Before, obviously, the Dan and Abby channel, the other channel, before that, nothing. I'd never have done this. I'd have never, silly as it is, FaceTiming a mate was bad enough. I just didn't like my voice, don't like talking in front of people, don't like any of that. Put it this way, our wedding, we didn't have speeches or anything. We didn't do a first dance or anything because I just don't like talking in front of people.
Nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, massively, yeah. But for some reason, talking to a camera in a workshop is fine.
Different. I suppose it's obviously just you yourself, and then you can edit it how you want it. If you're not happy with it, you can change it.
Exactly. You've got that filter, and you can just keep doing it, and it's good. I really enjoy doing it. Really enjoy doing it. I wouldn't do it and put the effort in, because the thing that does get me down on YouTube is that every single video, people disliking it. It just, I don't know, and I've spoken to a few different YouTubers, and it winds everybody up. It's the amount of time and effort that goes into filming, producing and making a video. Yeah. People don't sort of, I don't know, I might just be overthinking it, but
you're always going to get haters. They're always going to be there, unfortunately, but you got to focus on the positive.
You know, you've made it if you got haters.
Exactly. They're just jealous. That's all it is. So do you have a day job, or is this your full-time job now? Did you have a day job before?
No. So 2018, me and my wife Abby had a bit of a bad year with various different things going on, just in life in general. And then 2019 started off better, and then something wasn't quite right. And then subsequently, we both had sort of breakdowns last year, and we decided that the whole working in a job you're supposed to work in, just doing the normal things you're supposed to do, having the job, having the big house, the cars, the couple of holidays a year, it just wasn't working. Neither of us were happy. And then we decided, early last year, after we sort of both had a bit of a meltdown, that we were going to quit jobs and move on. So before that, I left school and was a mechanic for 2-3 years. Okay. For quite a well-known company in Leicester, Grand Good Racing, which was good. Really enjoyed it. Cars are in my blood. My dad built all of his race cars for him, for the British touring cars and things like that. And it was that was the job that because I was always at the garage as a kid. It was that job that I didn't try at school, because that job was always my job. I asked Graham when I was, I think, 5 that I wanted to work for him. So never tried. Did that. It was great performance stuff, and then after the first year, it sort of, the performance tailed off and it went to normal car servicing Fiestas, and I fell out of love with the motor trade big time. I really fell out of love with it. Then left and went and did joinery, carpentry and joinery, which was another thing that I'd sort of done a bit at school and sort of liked, and turned out I was really good at it. Worked my way up through the company that I started at, and then left there and sort of set up with my brother and friend ourselves doing the same thing. And that was where then the breakdown happened. Quit work, quit everything, sold everything, and we're supposed to be off travelling, but Corona hit. So
Corona hit. Yes.
Yeah.
The big one that's affected everything and everyone in the past year. So you
But
had experience in the past, obviously working with cars then, and kind of all the little bits and bobs you've done have probably accumulated to you, obviously being able to have the skills to do what you're doing now on the channel.
Yeah, I get comments from people quite a bit. I'm like my dad. My dad's very much, you look at something, you suss out in your head how you've got to do it, and you just get on and do it. And I can turn my hand to most things. So we've renovated a few houses, and I've done pretty much everything in them. I've always played and serviced and messed around with cars and done bits of bodywork and things. It's just, for some reason, I can just sort of turn my hand, and
well, that's very good. It's very lucky.
Very useful.
Yeah. So when you started your channel, obviously you had your previous channel, Dan and Abby, which we'll talk about in a minute. But when you started your Dan Chambers channel, you actually started with a T5.
Yes.
So would you mind telling us a little bit about that? Where is it now? How did you come about wanting
So,
to do that?
The T5 came about, obviously lockdown happened and everything. We were sat parked on Abby's parents' farm, and I managed, I think it was 7 weeks of doing nothing, literally doing nothing. Because living in a van, it's not like you're living in a house and go, well, I'll mow the lawn, or I'll do this, I'll do that.
No.
We live in a van, we've got no space to do anything. And I'd had enough of playing drift games on my mobile phone, so I was like, I need to do something. And I've got a friend that imports vans every now and then from Ireland. And I happened to text him one day and says, you got anything coming over? And he sent me a picture of this, the red van that I bought in all of its beaten and battered glory. And he sent me it, says, right, this is available. And I was like, no, it needs too much work. The doors will be a nightmare to find, the seat needs sorting, this needs sorting. Too much. And that, I think that went on for just over a week, and he just kept messaging me saying, it's still here, it's still here, it's still here, it's still here. And then I woke up on a Sunday morning, and Abby said to me, right, what are you doing today? And I had absolutely nothing to say. I might get out of bed, I might look out the window, that's about it. And I said, right, that's it, I'm having the van. So I went and got the van, and got it back, and yeah, it was as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was. It needed a lot of work.
Yeah. It was obviously meant to be though, if it was still around all that time.
Yeah.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a cheap van, but yeah, it was all meant to be, I think, and everything that's happened this year is, I'm grateful for Corona as much as it's messed a lot up. Everything that it's sort of set me on this path, I'm quite grateful for it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's obviously given people a lot of time to discover new passions and start new projects and finish projects. Obviously, we've had a lot of that here, people buying parts to finish projects. So what was your initial plan with the T5, and were you happy with what you finished it with? Was it like what you had envisioned? Yeah,
so the initial plan really was just give me something to do, just buy it, mess around with it, post it on Instagram a little bit, and I got the van back and took a picture of it and posted it on Instagram, and someone said, oh, why don't you, after the Dan and Abby channel, why don't you film doing this? It will drag it out a bit longer, and it'll give you something else to do.
Yeah.
But maybe. So I put a poll up on my stories and said, think of starting a channel doing this. Would anyone watch it? And I think it was either 97 or 98% of people said yes. So I was like, all right, I better start it. So set the channel up and did it. And the plan really, all the plan was for it was to paint it. It was to do what I did to it really. Get it running and working properly, tart the outside up, lower it, set of wheels, just make it look nice. And then all I was going to do was then just sell it on. But decided to film it, and yeah, it was. Then all this started. These past few weeks have just been utter chaos. It's mad. But
yeah. So did you sell it in the end? You sold it on?
Sold it to a guy that saw it on Facebook down Devon way, I think it's gone. I've had 3 or 4 emails from people saying, "Oh, I've seen your van about this one," and I've had pictures from them.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, the guy that bought it knew exactly what the van was. He contacted me to inquire about it on Facebook. I told him what I'd done, and he went. I told him about the channel. He went and watched every video. I think he watched all the videos in one night.
Oh, wow.
And then the next, I got right, watched everything, absolutely brilliant, love it, definitely coming. I'll be up. He drove. I'm sure it was Devon. It was right down south somewhere, and he drove up to Leicester to view it. I think he got here at 11 o'clock in the morning. Came up, literally spent 5 minutes looking at it, didn't drive it, gave me a deposit, drove all the way back, and then came up at the end of the week with his missus to pick it up. He was, absolutely loved it. And then, funnily enough, as soon as I bought the Golf and revealed that I was doing the Golf, I got a message from him saying, as soon as it's done, I want to buy it. Love the van. I want to buy whatever you build. So,
ooh, that's good then. You've
Right.
got a lifetime customer there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So obviously you've just mentioned the Golf. So anybody that's just kind of tuned in, we've actually started working with Dan on his Mk1 Golf restoration project. So Heritage will be collaborating with Dan, providing parts and kind of supporting along, which is great. We're very excited about. Can you tell us about that? Why did you went from the T5 and then decided to get the Golf?
Yeah, so the Golf, I'd finished the T5, that was all done, and it went, and I was sat thinking, right, I really need to, this YouTube thing's exploded, I've got to keep going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Went through loads of different things and thought, right, I'm just going to go, let's get a T5, let's do a full camper conversion, every step-by-step camper conversion, and then we'll sell it on. And then Abby said, yeah, but when you've done that, it's going to start getting into sort of September time, and people are going to be less likely to buy them. And I thought, yeah, probably not the best thing to do. Let's go for a bit of a longer project. So I started looking around at different things, and then I put a story up and just said, looking for a new project, anyone got anything available? And then Darren, the guy that owned the Golf, he'd only been following me for a few days. He'd seen the T5 channel, he just bought T5, saw that, and then it started following me from that. Message him saying, think of selling a Mk1 Golf. So I messaged him back thinking, he's going to want silly money, it's going to be ridiculous. And he came back and said, right, this is what it is, this is what I want for it. And it was pretty much where I was sort of thinking of spending. Sent me a few pictures, went up and looked at it. Didn't look anywhere near as bad as it is. As they do.
It's always the way.
And then, yeah, came back with it. And the idea was initially tart it up, get an MOT on it, drive it for a few weeks, and then make a start on it. But yeah, as you can see on the channel, it didn't quite go that way.
It doesn't. It never goes that way. Everyone always thinks they're just going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you're now back down to bare bones.
Yeah, somebody had done not what I was going to do, but somebody had tarted it up to get it on the road. There were rust holes filled with fiberglass. There was newspaper filled with filler and all sorts in play. It was, it had been, but it was the type of the car back in the 90s. They weren't worth anything, were they? And people just didn't respect, I suppose.
Right. So what's the plan now?
That came out.
So full restoration, and then will you sell it on, or is it going to be a personal project? I mean, obviously you've got a buyer already, if that's the plan.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure, to be honest. Obviously, the idea with the car is going to be a complete full nut and bolt restoration. Back to sort of standard. It's going to stay Mars red. I'm thinking I'd like to do all of the work, like the chassis work and things, for if I ever wanted to put it on air ride. So notch all the chassis and put all the holes in the spare wheel tub, things that won't affect the originality of the car, but are there in case I ever want to do it. I don't want to go cutting into a brand new painted shell in a year's time if I feel like doing it. Other than that, it's going pretty much back to standard.
Awesome.
And a set of BBS and a set of coilovers. Again, things that can be bolted on if it gets sold, things that the owner can then go back to an original car.
Yeah.
But with regards to selling it, it totally depends on where the channel and I am when it's done. I mean, at the minute, to keep the channel going, I'd have to sell it to be able to then fund another project, because this is me now. The YouTube thing is me. I'm rolling with that, and I want to keep with it. I'm enjoying doing it, and I'm finally doing something I love. And the thing I keep saying to people, it's nice to actually want to get out of bed in the morning and go to work and do something, because I've not had that for a long time, quite a
It's
few.
what anybody wants, really, isn't it? To get up and enjoy what you're doing, the passion, and then obviously if you can make money out of it, then great.
So that's the plan at the minute. I don't want to sell it, but I've sort of got my head around the fact that I may have to. It may be.
Yeah, well, you never know. The channel could take off insanely. You could
Okay.
purchase another one, have that as your own, whilst you're doing other things.
I've got a few ideas for other projects. There's one project that's been bumbling around in my head for years, and it's mad, but and it involves our old Volkswagen as well. So
wonder who might get involved with that. That's great. So obviously, so watching your videos, quite a few little tasks here and there, you're kind of saying, well, let's just dive in. I'm not sure quite what I'm doing with this bit, with that bit, which is, I applaud you for that. It's fantastic. But what job are you most nervous about tackling?
Welding.
Welding.
Welding. That's the thing that's, I've wanted to do a car restoration for years, and the thing that's always put me off is welding, because anyone you talk to, oh, welding's the most difficult thing in the world. Welding to a car, welding panels, welding rusty this, welding, it's a nightmare. Don't do it. It don't seem that bad at the minute, to be honest. It's not. It doesn't seem as bad as everybody makes out. At the minute, it doesn't seem as bad as everybody makes out. But the welding was the main thing that worried me. But as I've sort of said in the videos, I looked at going and doing a welding course at a college or something, and I spoke to a few different people, and they just said it just drags on and on and on and on, and all I need is just to be a welder put in my hand, try it, don't do that, do that, don't do that, do that. Which in the end I went to the machine shop in Hinckley, who were a brilliant little setup, and within 15 minutes of walking in the door I had a welder in my hand and I was having a go, and then for the next about 3.5 hours I was just welding and picked it up, and that was that. It's don't
know till you give it a try, do you?
Exactly. I'd bought a welder already during lockdown and thought, right, I'm just going to buy a welder and teach myself.
Yeah.
But then it's 80 quid for a lesson, for a 4-hour lesson, for a basics, just because I didn't want to go turning it on and burning myself or welding something. I know what I'm like, I'll end up blowing the welder up or something. So went and had that little tester, got back that night, ordered a load of steel and just started making things with it, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It is. The fabrication side was another side. I was a bit. Again, people tell you how difficult it is to make this panel, make that panel, fold this, fold that. That's the easy bit. The welding is still definitely the more difficult bit. Yeah. Actually getting a panel that looks right and fits is easy, but welding is still the bit. I'm with it, but I'm not where I want to be with it and the level I want to be.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, and then next from that is going to be. So the idea with the project is I want to do everything to it myself, if I can. Other than upholstery, maybe. We might. I've got a sewing machine. We might get that going. Paint is the other worry that I've got. I've painted things in the past, but the scrutiny that this car is going to get, I imagine, for having been on the internet, it's But at the same time, if I've done it all myself, I've not paid a professional to do it, and I've only got myself to blame, sort of thing. But I've got a friend who set a paint shop up doing furniture and things. But as he was setting it up, we were chatting back and forth, and he came over. We've measured the car, and we've made sure we can get the car in his booth now. So we made the booth a bit bigger, made the door a bit bigger, so we can get it into a proper paint booth.
That's good.
Which would be nice. So yeah, I'd say welding and paint are the two things that worry me, I suppose. But
that's understandable.
We'll just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? If it goes wrong, I've just got to pay someone that knows what they're doing and sort it out.
Exactly. And it's better to have had a go and you know whether it's something you are comfortable doing for future projects, or whether in the future you just say, you know what, that's not my bag. I can do everything else.
Yeah,
that's good. So do you have a background with VWs at all, or was there, so obviously you've gone for T5 and then Golf, was it just coincidence, or do you have a love of VW?
So the going first Volkswagen Volkswagen supposed VAG that I had was I had an Audi A3 in 2008, 2009, I think it was. It was really nice car. And when I was a mechanic, I had my first car was an original Mini, which was messed around with a different carb and different wheels. It was because I had the resources of a garage to do it. I could play around with it.
Yeah.
Then I didn't have a modified car for years and years and years. And then I bought this A3, and a friend had got an A3 on a set of, I think he got it on 20-inch Bentleys. And I was like, that looks cool. So I wanted an A3 on a set of Bentleys. So set of coilovers and set of wheels went on that. Bumbled around in that for a bit. Then sold that and bought a Mk1 Golf GTI. That lasted 6 weeks.
Oh.
Didn't crash it, but I did have to sell it because it was trying to kill me at every corner. I couldn't keep it, so we had to sell that. And then bumbled and had a Navara, various vans.
Yeah.
And then the original T5, which is way back in my Instagram that I sold last year, that was a sort of, it was a work van. It was when I went self-employed. I wanted a van for being a carpenter on the road. Looked at Transits and Vivaros, and it just didn't sit right. And then I stumbled upon the VW T5 forum and saw the many pounds that you could throw at one and make it look pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I before I bought the van, I knew I couldn't afford a facelift van, so I bought a facelift kit before I bought the van because I knew that I wanted to facelift it. Then bought the van, facelifted it, played around, and then it was a work van for quite a while. Then I'd seen people camping in them and thought, well, that was pretty good. So just threw something together in the back for a year to see if we used it. And we did. We went away in it every other weekend that year.
Yeah.
So then the proper interior came. Then bits and bobs happened on it. And then it ended up turning into the show-winning, colour-changed air ride van that
That's awesome.
quite a van that it ended up becoming.
Yeah.
While I had that as well, I wanted a Beetle. I really wanted a Beetle. It was one of them cars that I'd always wanted to have. And I was at Bristol Volksfest with the Low Down Transporters crew. And we were walking around, as you do. I'd had a few beers. And I got to the Roththink stand. And their Beetle, they've got a Beetle, it's cream with patina on it. It's got the Roththink on the door. Yeah. And I was sat on a hay bale next to that, just looking at it like, I need one of these. I need one. I've got to have one. So I was texting Abby saying, I want to get back and finding a Beetle. I'm having a Beetle. That's it. I'm getting one. And she was like, oh, okay, right. Well, we'll talk when you get back. We'll talk when you get back.
Yeah.
And I went back to the van, started messing around, and went on eBay and found the car I wanted. It was a cream, black interior, complete bone stock, 1200 72 Beetle. It was the little bumpers and everything. It was amazing. And I texted Abby saying, found this on eBay. Might go and look at it when I get back. And I got a message back that just had one word in it, which I can't repeat because apparently she had arranged for her and her dad to go and look at it that weekend to buy me as my 30th birthday present. And it was the exact same
amazing.
So I got back, and then the next weekend we went and looked at that car, got that car and got it back. And that was a good month before my birthday, and I wasn't allowed it until my birthday. But my pestering, we came on an agreement that I was allowed to play with it but not drive it. So then that came arrow beam, lowered it to the point of where you couldn't get it off the drive and things like that.
Yeah.
And then after that, another Irish T5 that I had, which was just bought as a flip project. Again, bought as a flip project. I ended up selling my main T5 and just driving that one around for a bit. And then we come up to the T5 that was on the channel, now the Golf, and the Crafter that I'm sat in.
Yeah.
As well. So I'd say there's definitely...
You're drawn to it.
Yeah, there's something about them. There's definitely something about them. When I was younger, or when I was a mechanic, it was a lot of Cosworths and Japanese stuff that we were around. And even though I was around them, it never really grabbed me.
No.
Really. But then, having been as involved in the low-down transporters as I am, it's been, there's just something about it, the people, and having never been involved with it before, how owning a vehicle can get you so many friends. I mean, I've made some lifelong friends through. It's unbelievable, it really is. I've made some lifelong friends from owning a van.
Yeah.
It's mad. It really
So
is.
what happened to the Beetle? Do you still have it? Did it get
So-
sold?
So unfortunately, because we did what we did and we sold everything, I had to sell it. So yeah, Beetle went and the T5 went to fund and to be able to buy the Crafter.
Yeah.
Which
Well, perhaps there'll be a Beetle in the future.
We did consider keeping the Beetle, but it was at a point of where if I'd have left it sat for a couple of years, it'd have just got too bad, and it needed sort of constant maintenance and looking after it. So
Of
we
course.
couldn't really do any more. I did the right thing. I know the guy that's bought it anyway. I sold it to somebody, and he sold it on again to a guy that I know who's doing a bit of a restoration to it apparently, which is nice.
That's in good hands then. It'll work.
Yeah,
out.
it is.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
But
you
the same as the T5 as well. I sold that to a friend, and he's finishing it. He's doing what I wanted to. He's putting a pop top in it. He's putting the engine in it that I wanted to put in it.
Nice.
He's doing everything that I wanted to do it to finish the van up, which is nice.
That's good. At least you're happy it's gone on to a good place. It's
No,
that's
definitely.
good.
Yeah,
So you've mentioned a few times that you're in the Crafter. So for anybody that doesn't know, Dan had a previous channel as well, Dan and Abby, who documented the build of the Crafter that they live full time in. So obviously you mentioned when you had your breakdowns and everything, is that when you got the Crafter and you transformed it into your home?
Yeah, so we had the sort of breakdowns earlier in the year, and then decided that was it. I'd talked about jacking everything and going travelling in a van for quite a few years, and Abby was like, no, it's not real, you can't just do that. And then I remember we were sat on a bench, I think it's Baggy Point in Croyd, overlooking the sea, and we were just sat there, and we'd just been for a wander about with the dogs and whatever, and I just sat there and looked at her and said, how nice would it be to wake up every morning and just do this? And she went, yeah, it would. Right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's buy one. Let's do it. I'm in. Let's jump in and do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we decided we were doing all that. It took 4 or 5 months to find the right van, because it had to be a decent mileage, air conditioning, things like that, which you wouldn't think it, but in a 30-odd grand brand new, when they're brand new, we didn't buy it brand new, a lot of them don't have aircon.
No.
And it's really difficult to have a van with aircon. So yeah, found that, and then the idea always was to convert it on a YouTube channel, because the months leading up to it, the research that we'd done and the channels that we'd watched and learned from, in a way, I wanted to, in a way, give something back, if you like, or add to what people already did. There's videos I watched where people were sort of knew what they were doing with the electrics, knew what they were doing with the plumbing side of it. There wasn't really anyone that focused on sort of the woodwork side of it, and everybody sort of did the same things inside. And I wanted to build things in slightly different ways, which it proved to work quite well.
Yeah.
And again, that channel is still, we've not put anything on since April, I think it was. And it's, I think in the last 28 days, it's had nearly 1,300 new subscribers. It's still,
That's
still
great.
long. It's crazy, yeah. That channel's still going. And the time lapse for, so when I done the 21 episodes, I then condensed everything down into, I think it was a 10-minute time lapse. That's on 1.2 million views now, I think it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It's mad. So that was all documented on there. And then the idea was, we'll go travelling and vlog travelling. And we were going to stick to the UK, because everybody builds vans to travel in. And as soon as they put the last screw in, they're on a boat or
Off to Europe.
off to Europe. Nobody stays and does the UK. And we really wanted to focus on and come from a different angle and show the UK, because you've holidayed in the UK and you've been to these places, but you don't see them. You just don't. But then we moved out of our house on the 16th of March, and the 23rd of March, which is Abby's 30th birthday, we went into lockdown. So we managed one night at Rutland Water, and one night in, so the Tuesday night was at Rutland Water, Wednesday night was somewhere in Northampton, and Wednesday night we sort of said, right, well, we'll see what's going on in the morning. It all looks like it's going to explode a bit, and we'll see what's what. And we woke up in the morning and Facebook was just going off
the hook.
So we said, right, let's just go back let this all blow over for a couple of weeks, and then we'll get off and get travelling again.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we never left. Pretty much, we've got a few different places that we stop in, so not outstay or welcome, but yeah, we're just staying local and staying here. I've got the workshop and obviously the cars and the channel now. Abby had to sell a horse for us to go and do what we're doing, so she's just got a new horse last week as well, so she's more than happy about out there playing. I don't understand it. It's raining, it's cold, and she's out. I don't get it. I really don't.
Everyone has their thing, you know. Horses, cars, I mean.
She loves them.
Yeah, so is the plan still to go travelling once everything lifts up, or are you going to maybe re-look at that now that you're now that you've got the sorry, there's something coming in through there. Now that you've got the channel, or is that going to be reassessed?
So the whole travelling thing really was a reset, really, and to not find ourselves, but find out what we wanted to do. We'd done what we were told, and not what we were told, but what you're supposed to do, the job, the car, the things like that, and it just wasn't right. So we wanted to use travelling as a year or two to just chill out, enjoy life, enjoy what we wanted to do, and then after we'd done that, the plan was we want to buy some land and start a small scale farm.
Nice.
Is what the plan always was. So we're now. I can't really see travelling happening, if I'm honest. The van isn't going anywhere. It will stay as a weekend or a week here, a week there van, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I think the whole travelling thing is Corona and the lockdown has sped up our sort of reset, if you like, and we know what we want to do now. So Abby, when she was a kid, always wanted to do things with animals and horses and farming and things like that. She ended up being an accountant, which is totally different. She loved it, but it was just not the thing.
That's fair enough.
The farm and having a workshop and playing cars in a building on there and things like that, and is what we want to do. So I can't see travelling.
No. Well, you never know, do you? You know, like I said, weeks here and there and whatnot. Now that you've got the ability to do so.
It certainly wouldn't be disappearing for 4 or 5 months at a time. It may be a week or 2 weeks here and there. As long as I can film enough so I can upload videos to obviously to keep everyone happy.
Exactly. You can't be abandoning us now.
How selfish of you.
So when you were building the van, is it everything that you wanted? Is there anything that you would want to change now that you have lived in it solidly for so long?
So again, this is a question that we get asked constantly on the Dan Abbey channel. It's exactly what we wanted, and it's pretty much the original layout that we first envisaged and first thought of. The only things that I would consider changing if we were to do another is we sleep widthways in the van, and I'm 6 foot and the van isn't 6 foot wide.
Right.
The bed it's not deep enough to lay lengthways in the van.
Yeah.
But I lay diagonally across it, and Abby can lay straight out. So it'd be nice to be able to lay straight out in a van. But like I've said a few times to people, when you're asleep and you've got your eyes shut, you don't know what orientation you are in.
True.
On a bed.
True.
So it doesn't really matter. But I'd probably change that. And the biggest thing that I'd messed up on with it was electrical power. That was the big thing. I raced ahead thinking I knew what I was doing. I've watched a YouTube video. I know how many batteries to put in, and we've not got enough power to completely stay off grid. We have now because I've added another battery in, but there's a guy on Instagram, Tom's Van Build, who I'm working with on an upcoming project, which is going to be launched on chat in a couple of weeks, and he knows his stuff. I started chatting to him, told him everything that I needed, that I'd got in the van, and asked him why I was having a problem, and he sent me a calculation. It doesn't make any sense. There's a number at the end that it does. And worked out that I'd not put enough batteries in. So things I'd change would be the batteries. I'd put more batteries in if I was building something. And I'd like to swap the bed around, but if you turn the bed, you lose this seat that I'm sat on, you'd lose most of that.
Of course.
So I'd like to change those things, but they work as well. I wouldn't necessarily change them. We spent 4, maybe 5 months just every night, every weekend, planning, researching, doing this drawing, doing that drawing. And then as soon as we got the van, we came in, ripped all the ply lining out, and then I used the ply lining to build the toilet room, where the fridge goes, where the kitchen is, the bed, to stand in it. And I think we left it for a week and kept coming in and out of it and seeing if we thought it worked and if we'd change anything. And we didn't change anything. It works. And the dogs absolutely love their little bedroom they've got as well.
That's very cute. I have seen that. If anyone check out on the channel, a really cute little dog bed under your bed, isn't it?
They love it. They absolutely love it.
Perfect. That's perfect. I've seen somebody's just commented to Andy, who I work with. He does our events and everything. He's just got a crafter. So he had a van before, and he sold that a couple of months ago and got a crafter. It's an ex kind of like ambulance one. It's insanely bright in our car park, and he's been doing a full restoration kind of that and converting it, you know, to be able to go camping with his family at the weekends. I know that he's been watching your channel quite a lot to get ideas. Appreciating that, and he's just commented saying, could you fit window pods? I'm presuming maybe for a little bit of
yeah, you could do. It was something that I mean, when I was building this over a year ago now, there wasn't a massive amount of product on the market for this van. There certainly wasn't anywhere near what there is now. Window pods were available, but they were, if you wanted one, you had to wait 5 or 6 weeks for them, and they were quite a lot of money. And I didn't want to wait, really, was really why I did it. In hindsight, I probably should have put window pods on either side. I really should have done. But then it'd have made trying to finish the inside quite difficult, because we didn't want any carpet anywhere on the inside. But it's not carpet liner, the whole thing's clad in wood. And it makes it feel so much bigger being all painted white. It'd been doable, but I should have done, really. Yeah, I should have done.
Something to think about, isn't it? We've got crafters are definitely taking off. We've had 2 staff members recently sell their transporters and get crafters. One, he bought it kind of all pre-done and is kind of fairly happy with how it is. And like I said, Andy, he's been doing the full throughout, doing everything himself as well, which has been great to watch. So hopefully, you know, once everything's done, maybe you can come down and visit us. It would be nice. Once the world is back to normal. You know, we have our Heretics meets. Well, we haven't been able to have any this year, which is heartbreaking for our community. But usually we have our Heretics meets here at the HQ. We get up to 200 odd people coming with all sorts of VWs and Porsches and various other vehicles as well. And we would love to be able to show you kind of all of the ones that we've got in our car park, just our staff members.
Yeah, that's great to come down. It really would.
It'd be fantastic to have you down. I think that's about everything really that we kind of, you know, wanted to discuss. Let me just have a look through. We've had quite a few kind of comments come through from people, so let me just have a look. A couple of people saying that they love your channel. They've been watching your Mk1 build. They're really enjoying it. VW Europe, I think this was in response to what you were talking about potentially next. He's asked, Bay, Split, Beetle, do you have anything you can potentially tell us about what could be next? Or
I don't think anyone will expect it, put it that way. Anyone will expect it. It's mad. It's
exciting.
Yeah. Can't wait. That's the project that I really want to get my teeth into. Yeah.
A few people saying a beach buggy. It's got to be a beach buggy. They're very fun. VR6 caddy pickup. Yes.
Quite ready for the reveal. It'll be a way off yet. It'll be a long way off yet.
It's a way off yet. Let's get the golf sorted first, and then we can move on to other things. A couple of more people just saying that they really love your channel. VW photographer. I think this was in response to you saying about Abby with her horses. They said this is what she's saying about you on her horse channel. She's probably somewhere else saying, I don't know why he's out there faffing with cars in the rain and in the cold garage.
She doesn't get it at all. But her family are farming, which is the farm I'm sat on. So they've always been sort of animals and farming and things like that. My family have all been racing and things like that, and cars. It's just, two totally different families.
Everyone has their thing.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Yeah, a few people saying you potentially get an old Porsche in, or a bug. So we will excitedly await. And in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really fun.
Thank you for working with me on the channel as well. It's massive. I can't say thank you enough for. It's mad that a company like you guys want to work with an idiot in a barn winging it every time on a video.
No, we're really enjoying it, and anybody who's watching, do make sure that you go and check out Dan's YouTube channel. It is fantastic. The content's great, and we've got a good few more videos to come in kind of collaboration with Dan as well, which is very exciting. Check him out on Instagram, of course, as well, dan.a.chambers. And thank you so much for joining us. If anybody else has questions for Dan, obviously pop on over to his channel. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer a few. And if you've got any more, this will be going up on our IGTV and saved to it. And we'll also be putting up on Facebook over the course of the next couple of days as well. So anybody can pop questions in there if they have any. If anybody else watching wants to join us on a live, if you want to join myself or my colleague Andy, who's done one of our previous, drop us a message. We can see what we can get sorted. I hope you have a great evening, and thanks so much for joining us, Dan.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you to everyone that likes and subscribes and everything as well. Without the subscribers, this certainly won't be happening, and I wouldn't be where I am. So thank you all so much.
Well, thank you very much, and see you soon. Talk soon. See you in the next video.
See you later. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.